Which of these seed retailers is going to be the best deal? Let's find out. Hey friends, it's Kendall, your joyful farmer. So we're looking at 7 different retail seed companies today. We're going to talk about the types of seeds that they offer, the speed of order fulfillment and shipping, and also the germination rates that they generally give. What I've noticed anecdotally over the past 5 years. And stick around to the end because we counted tons of unopened packs of seeds for you just to investigate how many seeds each company actually sends you in the mail. I broke down the cost per seed for each retailer, and I'll give you my overall assessment of which companies I'd recommend depending on what your goals are. There were some things I found that actually really surprised me. This is obviously not a list of all seed retailers, and it's not even all the companies that I regularly purchase from, just some common ones that are out there. I would love it if you would share your experiences with any of these companies in the comments below, or if there are other companies that you'd like to share, please do that. I would love to be able to learn from your experience as well. First up is Botanical Interests. They are a small family-owned company based out of Broomfield, Colorado. They have around 30 employees. You can order from them online, and there are also many stores in the US that carry their seeds in store. My local farm store down the road actually does carry them. They sell open pollinated seeds, including some heirloom varieties. In their online store, they currently have 292 varieties of vegetable seed, 134 of those being heirloom. They also have 146 varieties of flowers, and of their 438 varieties of seeds, 152 of those are organic. I also really appreciate the aesthetic appeal of the little seed packets. They have the most lovely little illustrations on them. How pretty is that? And they're accurate illustrations to the variety that the seed packet contains. That's kind of nice. In the Botanical Interest, there's a seed starting guide pamphlet. I recently placed an order online on a Saturday, and it shipped out on a Tuesday and arrived that Friday in this nice little box. The seed packets have a good amount of information on them as well, a lot of good growing information on the back. And in my experience, in general, they do have good germination rates. Next is Johnny's Seeds. They're a large seed retailer with around 200 employees based out of Central Maine. They carry around 2,000 varieties of seed, primarily open pollinated and hybrid varieties, and only about 6 of those varieties online being heirloom. They have a huge selection of vegetables, flowers, and cover crop seed, but they also have a wide variety of organic options, often offering specific seed varieties as both conventionally grown seed and certified organic. Their website has some really great resources on it as well. They have an extensive growers library with lots of helpful digital tools such as growing calculators and calendars, and they have a research center in Maine with a team of breeders that develop varieties that are exclusive to Johnny's. They also offer lots of growing supplies. When I order from Johnny's, they typically ship out the same day or next day. The most recent order I placed on a Saturday, it shipped Sunday and arrived on a Thursday. I have never had a negative experience with their seeds or their products or their customer service. Their seed packets have a lot of growing information on them, including the germination rate for the specific batch that the seeds came from, the date that they were germ tested, and their website also has lots of in-depth growing information and tools easily accessible for whatever you're trying to grow. Over the years, all of the seeds that I've ordered have matched the stated germination rate on the packet as long as I stored them properly and started them in the recommended manner. If you're ordering bulk quantities of the seed, the larger seed amounts do come in Mylar bags, and I really appreciate that for dry storage. Next up is Hos. Hos is a family-owned business out of Norman Park, Georgia. According to a web search, they have somewhere between 11 and 50 employees. They carry about 580 varieties of vegetable and fruit seed and about 733 varieties of flower seed. Of those, 150 varieties of those are heirloom and 208 are hybrid. The rest are open pollinated. As for shipping time, anytime that I've ordered from Hos, they've shipped my order out within 2 days. I ordered on a Saturday this time, it shipped out on a Monday, and it was delivered the following Saturday. Hos, like Johnny's, I do appreciate the Mylar bags that come with the bulk quantity of seeds. And Hos often brags that they carefully source and test their seeds, which in my experience is why the seeds are consistently such high quality seeds. Their customer service is also great, and they specialize in garden tools that are long-lasting and made in the USA, which is awesome. Next is Ferry-Morse. Ferry-Morse is a company based out of Massachusetts, originally founded in 1856, and they are a subsidiary of Green Garden Products. They're one of the companies that has seed displays that you commonly see in the big box stores. They also have a website where you can shop and place an order online. On their website, they carry 283 varieties of seed, mostly open pollinated varieties, but they also carry 23 heirloom varieties and 20 hybrid varieties. I placed an order online on a Saturday, it was shipped out Monday, and was delivered the following Monday. I think the longer time for shipping is explained by the fact that Massachusetts is the furthest seed retailer from Texas that I've included on this list. I do also appreciate that this company has a super quick customer service response. If you email them during business hours, they'll respond within the hour. I had a seed packet that was missing seeds because it had a missing corner on it, so I requested a replacement packet and they had it processed within a half hour. They do put some growing information on the back of the seed packets, including a map of the growing zones in the US. The next company I want to mention is American Seed. This is not to be confused with the online retailer. If you just look up American Seed online, that's not what I'm talking about. These are the seed packets that you see at dollar stores, which are generally priced 2 for $1 or 4 for $1. They're actually a subsidiary of the same company that owns Ferry-Morse, which is called Green Garden Products. Their displays at the dollar stores are pretty small and the options are fairly limited. They offer 30 or so varieties of vegetable and flower seeds, all pretty basic options that are mostly open pollinated. Over the past several years, I've had maybe 2 to 3 issues with lower germination rates on these, but for the most part, they really are decent seeds. The price point is so low on these and they're so easily accessible for people, I really wanted to include this option to compare cost and see how the smaller quantity packets compare to the other retailers. The next one I want to share is Baker Creek. Baker Creek is an heirloom seed company based out of Missouri. They offer around 550 varieties of vegetable and fruit seed and 450 varieties of flowers, and they are all heirloom seeds. Their catalog is absolutely beautiful, and there's so many rare and unusual varieties that they carry. It's so easy to get lost in all of the possibilities with them. They do have a storefront that you can visit in Mansfield, Missouri to shop in person, but I've always ordered online from them. This last order I placed on a Saturday. It was shipped out on a Monday and arrived on Thursday. I do love all of the options that they offer, often seeds that are hard to find otherwise. But one thing that has disappointed me about Baker Creek is that over the past few years, they have cut the quantity of seeds stated on many of the seed packets in half while increasing many of their prices. But don't let that scare you off from Baker Creek altogether, because in the cost comparison, I'll tell you more about that later. I have experienced germination issues here or there with these seeds, but because of the nature of the seeds being so rare and the limited availability from growers, it's really not too unexpected that that might happen. But overall, I still purchase seeds from Baker Creek regularly because they offer some really cool options. And the last one on this list, but certainly not the least, is MIgardener. This is a small company that is based in Michigan, and like Baker Creek, they specialize in heirloom seed. They're primarily an online retailer, but they are contracted with some stores around the US now to sell their seeds on location. Depending on the time of year and how busy they are, I have had seeds ship out in anywhere from 2 to 10 days. This most recent order I placed was a grab bag full of seeds that they're clearing out at the end of the growing year, and it shipped out the same day and was delivered in 5 days. Most of their seeds are $2 a pack, which makes them very competitive in the market. I've grown many seeds from MIgardener over the years, and the majority of them do very, very well, but I have had some germination issues on a few packets here or there. These are all heirloom seeds, so it's not a surprise that that might happen, but for the most part, they do really well. And heirloom seeds and open pollinated seeds are great because you can save seed from them and they will carry the genetics of the mother plant. And Luke from MIgardener actually encourages people to save their own seed, which is actually pretty cool for somebody who owns a seed company. Okay, so now for the really fun part, let's compare the cost of the seeds across the 7 retail companies. So we took a sampling of seeds from all the different retailers and counted them. What I found was pretty interesting. I calculated the cost per seed, and I also calculated the average rates that they overpacked their seeds. I put the data in this chart that I'll show you. The cost per seed I calculated and color-coded, with dark green being the lowest cost per seed and red being the highest cost per seed. Of course, some seeds are more costly than others across the board, especially if they're larger seeds. Squash seeds are one of these examples. And most often they're not more than 10 cents per seed. Also, I should note that when I calculated the cost per seed, I calculated it according to the number of seeds that were actually packed in the order and not just the approximate total claimed on the packet. I noticed that when I was looking at the sampling of seeds I got from each company, most companies had seed packs in similar cost range. Hos was notably more expensive than the others, though I know that that company has always had great germination rates. And American seed packs, the ones from the dollar store, were less expensive. But those dollar store seed packs are also the category with by far the fewest number of options or different varieties. In general, I found that all of the retailers tended to overpack their seeds. One company overpacked their seeds with much larger quantities than the others. Baker Creek packed their seed packets with over double the amount that was promised on the packets. A couple of years ago, I realized that the packets of zinnia seed that I had purchased in 2020 still had lots of seeds left in them when new packets had way fewer seeds. And I looked at the number of seeds on the packet, and sure enough, they had cut the number of seeds. Now, it should be noted that that is the minimum seed cost on the packets, and it had been cut in half on many of those seed packets, while the cost had actually also gone up 50 cents, $1, $1.50 for many of those seeds. I'm not sure if Baker Creek has always double stuffed their seed packets, but it's surprising that by standard, they more than double stuff them. I've heard some people say that Baker Creek seeds are much more expensive, which would be true, except for the fact that they are packing twice as many seeds as they are guaranteeing you in each packet. If you take this into account, they're slightly more expensive than average. That's not to say that that won't change in the future and they won't start packing fewer seeds. But for now, I think this is just their standard practice for most of their seeds. I also wanted to get more specific and compare specific seeds from different companies and their cost per seed in order to directly compare more apples to apples, so to say. This chart lists the seeds by type. Each column is a different type of seed, a different variety, and the cost per seed is listed from least expensive to most expensive, and the company is noted on there. At the top of multiple lists is MIgardener. Considering that they have a lot of heirloom varieties of seed, this is probably your best choice if you're looking for both lower cost per seed and a wide variety of heirloom options, and also good germination rates. American Seed also has the lowest cost per seed on some of these lists. And it's a trade-off because yes, the seeds are a great deal, but as a grower, you're very limited in your choices. They don't skimp on the seeds in the packets, but I have found on a rare couple of occasions that the germination rate on these has been low for some reason. But overall, you can grow a lot of food with these seeds. I've even caught these seeds being cleared out at the end of the season from our local dollar store for 90% off. So I've purchased these seeds for 3 cents a pack. That's basically free. A great option if you're gardening on a budget. Hos is pretty consistently the more expensive option when you compare the same variety from different retailers, but they do tout very good germination rates. Something I thought was very interesting was Johnny's. I love Johnny's for the many high quality and specialty offerings that they carry. The smaller seed packs, the ones that come with 30 or 50 seeds, are the ones that are consistently more expensive when calculated per seed. However, if you bump up to the next size available for many of the seeds, which is typically 100 seeds or 250 seeds, that is where the real value sort of sneaks in. There have been many times I will bump up the quantity of seeds that I'm getting and pay $2 to $3 more for 5 to 6 times the quantity of seeds. If you purchase those next size up packets of seed, the cost per seed ranking moves up toward the top of these lists. So purchasing a little bit more can save you a lot on overall cost. For the most part, Ferry-Morse sits right in the middle of these lists, and Baker Creek is mostly in the middle, but sometimes ranks as a less expensive option. Remember, this is considering the double stuffed seed envelopes that they tend to pack. And Botanical Interests, though not the most expensive, sits mostly toward the bottom of the cost lists. So, in conclusion, my overall assessment of these retailers: Botanical Interests is a great company with lovely packaging. I do like supporting MIgardener, who now owns the company, but they are not where I order the bulk of my seeds. Johnny's, I tend to use Johnny's for larger quantities of seeds, specific hybrids, and I love all of the organic options that they carry and their high germination rates, the growing information that they provide, and also all their online resources. MIgardener might be the company that I've placed the largest number of orders from in the past 5 or 6 years because I appreciate their cost effectiveness, their good germination, and lots of heirloom options that they carry. I also like supporting the owner, Luke, because he's such a difference maker in the gardening community. They often offer 10% off coupon codes as well. Hos, their seeds are more expensive seeds, but always well tested and sourced with great germination rates. I order infrequently from Hos these days, but they're an option with very high germination rates. Ferry-Morse, I typically use this company if I need seeds the same day from a big box store, so I can just drive to the box store, get the seeds, and drive myself right back home. They're cost effective and they have great customer service if you have issues with seed count. American Seed is definitely the cheapest overall option if you're on a budget, but the drawback is if you want tomatoes, there's only one variety of red cherry tomatoes and a couple of varieties of beefsteak tomatoes, for example. I still buy these seeds, especially when they're on clearance. Baker Creek. When I want to get lost in the heirloom options and I want to grow all the rare things, I go to the Baker Creek website or I'll look through their catalog. It's great that they really overstuff their seeds so that although the costs might appear to be higher, they really aren't. So I hope that analysis was helpful for you. If it was, please consider liking, subscribing, or sharing the content. And do you have your favorite seed retailers or tips for other growers shopping for seeds? Please comment below. Thank you for watching. I wish you joy, and I'll see you next time.